Ever feel like you're like standing at the bottom of a mountain? You're just staring up at this peak, right? And it's called a better life.
Yeah,
We all want it, but figuring out that first step, that's always the challenge, isn't it?
it is.
And wouldn't you know it? There's this ancient Thai Buddhist tradition called the 38 Steps to a Better Life. It's almost like a trail map for, personal growth and all that.
Right.
Today, we're zeroing in on step 2, associate with the wise.
And that doesn't mean academics or socialites or anything like that.
Right.
The text we're diving into this time is called pasted text, and it really flips the script on who we think of as wise.
It's funny you should say that because when I first read this, I have to admit I was picturing, robed figures meditating on mountaintops.
Of course.
But this text, it mentions like a farmer, even someone who can't read. Kind of blew my mind a little. How about you?
Yeah, it definitely challenges those preconceived notions, right? The term in Thai is actually kanakanhan, and it's much more about the essence of a person than any outward status.
Okay.
It's their character, their actions. That's where true wisdom shines through.
So it's less about having knowledge, would you say, and more about living.
Exactly. You got it. And the text boils it down to these 3 core traits of the wise: thinking good thoughts, speaking good words, and doing good deeds.
Well,
Straightforward.
right. Yeah, they sound pretty straightforward, almost deceptively simple, I'd say.
hmm
But I'm guessing there's more to it than just like, wishing people a good morning and remembering to recycle or something.
You hit the nail on the head. It's
Ah.
really about weaving those qualities into like the very fabric of your being,
Mm-hmm.
and not just every now and then when it's convenient, but consistently.
Okay.
It's the intention behind every thought, every word, every action that really elevates someone to that wise level. You know what I mean?
So it's less about checking boxes and more about this like constant self-reflection, this constant striving to like align yourself with those principles.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds kind of exhausting, to be honest. Are the wise allowed to have bad days, would you say?
Of course they are. It's not about, some unattainable state of perfection.
Yay.
The text frames it as a journey, a continuous process of growth.
Yeah.
And the really beautiful thing is that as we're working on these qualities within ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
we're not just impacting our own lives, but also the lives of those around us, right?
Right.
It's like this ripple effect of positivity.
Okay, so it's not just about finding the wise, but also about like becoming the wise ourselves.
Exactly.
How do we even begin to spot these folks in
Yeah,
our, day-to-day lives? Are there like any telltale signs?
absolutely. And the text highlights a few key things to watch for.
Okay.
One is that the wise, they'll often lead by example rather than preaching.
What do you mean?
So they're not going to stand on a soapbox, right?
Like,
They embody the principles they believe in. They just live it.
so instead of like lecturing everyone about healthy eating, they're the ones who quietly bring a veggie platter to the potluck.
Precisely. They walk the walk,
Mm-hmm.
which can be incredibly inspiring to witness.
Totally.
Another sign is that they're really focused on their own, like, personal growth and responsibilities.
Okay.
Not that they're not helpful or compassionate, of course they are,
Hmm.
but they understand that it's important to take care of their own business before trying to, like, fix everyone else's problems.
Yeah, it's like that friend who, no matter how swamped they are, still manages to hit the gym every morning, right?
Exactly.
They're not bragging about it or anything. They're just quietly committed to their routine, and it's strangely motivating, wouldn't you say?
It is. It is. And that's actually where this whole idea of association comes in.
So it's not enough to just like admire these wise folks from afar. We've got to actually like befriend them.
Think of it less as like befriending and more as actively cultivating those connections.
Cultivating sounds kind of fancy. What does that look like, in real life?
Well, the text actually uses this term proactive association.
Okay, now you're just using big words to sound smart.
Fair enough. But it's really not that complicated. It just means being intentional about spending time with the wise, really paying attention to how they think and act, and try to really absorb those lessons.
Huh?
This could be through like regular visits, deep conversations, or even just like observing them from a distance.
So like taking notes while they're ordering their coffee.
Right.
Kidding. But it does make you wonder, what's the secret sauce here? Is it just about osmosis or is there more to it than that?
That's the really fascinating part. The text is very clear that it's not enough to just passively soak it all in.
Okay.
It's about taking that wisdom that you're observing and putting it into practice,
Okay.
integrating it into your own thoughts, words, actions, that sort of thing.
So it's less about becoming a wisdom sponge and more about using those teachings to, like, really shape your own life.
Exactly. And this is where things get even more interesting, I think.
Oh.
The text introduces this whole other idea of cultivating the wise one within ourselves.
Whoa, hold on a second. Are you saying we can all be our own personal Yoda?
Well, in a sense, yes. It's about recognizing that each of us, we already possess the potential for wisdom,
Right.
right? It's already there inside.
So it's not just about seeking external wisdom, but also, like, nurturing that inner compass, that inner voice.
Precisely.
How do we cultivate that inner wisdom?
Well, the text says it's through those same three core principles that we were talking about before.
Okay.
Thinking good thoughts, speaking good words, doing good deeds. It's about bringing that same intentionality and mindfulness to our, to our own internal world.
So it's like holding up a mirror to our own, like, thoughts and
Yeah.
actions, right? And asking ourselves, am I living in alignment with these principles?
Exactly. And this is where practices like meditation or journaling can be really helpful.
Right.
They create a space for that self-reflection,
Yeah.
allowing us to kind of observe our own patterns and make conscious choices about how we want to show up in the world.
It's like that old saying, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Right. But self-awareness can be tough, can it?
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels easier to, like, focus on other people's flaws than to really look at our own.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's definitely a journey, not a destination, as they say.
Right.
But the text really emphasizes that the benefits of walking this path of wisdom, they're well worth the effort.
Okay, you've got me hooked. Lay it on me. What are these amazing benefits? So spill the tea. What wisdom-infused goodies are waiting for us at the top of this mountain?
Well, the text doesn't hold back, that's for sure. First off, it promises increased knowledge and understanding, which makes sense when you really think about it. You surround yourself with all these wise influences, and you're bound to pick up a thing or two along the way.
It's like that saying, you are the books you read, the people you meet, something like that.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just, accumulating knowledge. The text also talks about a boost in mental resilience, that inner strength.
Oh, so we're talking like inner steel, the kind that helps you deal with all the curveballs life throws your way.
That's it. And remember how we were talking about the wise being so focused on their own lane, taking responsibility for themselves? The text suggests that really focusing on that can actually help protect us from a lot of negativity and bad decisions.
Interesting. It's like having a built-in BS detector or something, right?
Yeah.
When you've spent all this time cultivating wisdom, you're less likely to get, like, swept up in every passing trend or swayed by, every bit of negativity that comes your way.
Exactly. The text also suggests that this path of wisdom, ultimately leads to, wait for it, greater happiness and fulfillment.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. More happiness, sign me up. But seriously, is it really that simple? Just, like, find some wise people and bam, you're happy.
I wish it were that easy. The text is very clear that these benefits, they're not guaranteed, right? It's not about, like, instant gratification. Cultivating wisdom, both internally and externally, it's a continual process. It's a practice, right?
Right.
It's about all those small conscious choices that we make every day that end up adding up to, to a more fulfilling life in the long run.
So it's not like a magic pill or anything. It's more like tending a garden. You have to be willing to put in the work, nurture those seeds of wisdom, and then over time, you really start to see those results. You start to see those fruits of your labor, so to speak.
What a beautiful way to put it. And the text actually uses a really stunning metaphor to describe this. It compares associating with the wise to the way the moon illuminates the night sky.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So just as the moon, it reflects the sun's light, the text argues that we can also reflect the wisdom of those around us, you see. And what's more, we can actually become a source of illumination for other people.
So it's not just about, like, taking in all this wisdom for ourselves, but also, like, paying it forward in a way, guiding others. That's beautiful.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that interconnectedness, The more we work on cultivating wisdom, both internally and by surrounding ourselves with it, the more we contribute to a wiser, more compassionate world for everybody.
Now, that is a beautiful thought to end on. And for all of you listening out there, take a moment to really consider this. Who are the guiding lights in your own life, whose wisdom has really had a profound impact on you? And how can you, in your own unique way, reflect that light outwards and illuminate the path for others? That's something to ponder as we wrap up our deep dive today. Thanks for joining us.